Welcome back, Cherry Blossom family. It is Wednesday. That means it's What's the Hemp Wednesday? What the Hemp Wednesday? All right, so we are going to talk about some news today. Not so much news today. Today is more, we're talking about one subject. As we talked last week, I mentioned last week, we're going to talk about Delta 8. And Delta 8's been getting hot lately. It's been getting a lot of news. People calling us, oh, you have Delta 8, or do you offer it? Is it something that you're planning on offering? No, we're more of a hemp company. So, and even though, we'll kind of get to this in when we go in the news. Like, we'll kind of tell you a little bit about what Delta 8 is, and we'll kind of let you make your own decision. Like, we're not really in the habit of, we do promote a healthy lifestyle. We do hope that that lifestyle includes hemp or some sort of, cannabinoid therapy, but we're really not in the business of telling people how to live or, how to purchase. So what we are going to do is we're going to put out some facts and figures. We're going to talk about Delta 8. We'll let you know what that is and how it's made, and let you make your decision on your own. So let's talk about it. So today, in the last 12 to 18 months, I think Delta 8 has kind of it's really, really taken off. Like, it's almost taken over the industry in a way. And there are people on both sides that have opinions about this. They're saying, well, some for, some against, and it's sort of really creating some divides within the industry. We have our own opinions about it, but, like I said, we're going to stay neutral as we can. We'll let the facts speak for themselves. We'll say that. Some say it's the newest, latest, and some say it is just a passing fad. There are those who say that Delta 8 is a creative hemp-based alternative for those seeking something stronger than CBD or your traditional hemp extracts or derivatives, and something that is stronger, or excuse me, maybe not as strong than the traditional Delta 9 THC, and it does have sort of reduced psychoactive effects than Delta 9. So the Delta 9 is what we all know as traditional THC. So yes, there are major and minor cannabinoids. The two major ones are CBD and THC, but there's other ones like CBN, CBG, and of course, we have Delta 8. So as all this has been sort of developing over the years, as more and more people have been doing research, as research has been allowed to be performed on these plants, we've been discovering a lot of different things. Meanwhile, others say that Delta 8 is a synthetic alternative to both CBD and Delta 9 THC and should be treated as such, fearing that it will not only make people sick or worse, but also people that are in the industry feel that it would undermine the growing legal hemp industry. And that is a legitimate concern. The problem with Delta 8 THC is that it's not something that most people in the industry knew about or even existed until the 2018 Farm Bill was drafted. And in so many words, the Farm Bill stated that hemp extracts of all kinds are legal. It did not make Delta 8 THC illegal, nor was it even really addressed in that bill because most people did not know that it existed. So in a sense, these Delta 8 products, this industry was born from that piece of legislation. So what is Delta 8 THC? It is an isomer. It's an isomer of Delta 9 THC, and that means that it has the same atoms, just arranged in a different pattern. It is a naturally occurring cannabinoid, just like Delta 8 or Delta 9 or CBD, CBN, CBG. Although the hemp plant produces it in minuscule amounts. And since it's produced naturally, the plant's producers and manufacturers, naturally by the plant, some producers and manufacturers say that it is a naturally occurring extracted cannabinoid. However, from our research, not one Delta 8 product on the American market today is a direct plant extract. Not one. And although it is naturally occurring in the hemp plant, it can be produced from CBD isolate, but not extracted directly from the plant. Like, for example, olive oil. You take olives, you press them, you get olive oil. It's a direct representation of what's going on in the plant. So I think what is happening is that people are taking hemp isolate. Isolate is something that's been produced en masse over the last few years. They take that isolate, they do a little chemical conversion. Sometimes that conversion even includes bleach. And then you get the conversion to Delta 9 THC, and then there's a conversion from there to Delta 8 THC. So like I said, we're here to promote healthy lifestyle. We're not here to tell you what to do, but we're going to put out some facts and figures, and you can decide for yourself if you think Delta-8 THC is legal and safe, if you think it is illegal, it should be banned off the market, or if you think that it is the right cannabinoid for you, and you're like, hey, I'm all in now, So let's talk about it. So let's talk about some numbers. Delta-8 THC whole prices are $1,500, $2,000 a kilo. Okay. Now, because this is born out of CBD isolate properties. I mean, not because, but isolate prices have dropped in the last couple of years for about $2,000 to about $600. All right. So we're taking some of this $600 isolate and turning it into $1,500 to $2,000 Delta-8. So from there, and that is just one. So we actually read, and we're going to quote a guy, Christopher Hudala. He's the founder and CSO of ProVerde Labs. They are a lab company that does analysis and such on different plants and botanicals, cannabis and CBD being one. Some of those, and asked if it was possible to extract Delta-8 naturally for commercial production. And you guys excuse if this is going a little long today, but I think it's really important that we talk about this. So I want you guys to really stay tuned to what's happening. But so his response was, Delta-8 THC can be extracted and purified from hemp. Possible? Yes. Economically feasible? No. In the analysis of over 18,000 samples of hemp, 98.5% had no measurable concentrations of Delta-8 THC. We did say that it comes in minuscule concentrations. Of the ones that did contain Delta-8, the average concentration was about only 0.0018%. CBD is easy to recover from hemp by extraction and recrystallization. THC cannot be isolated quite so easily, ignoring the challenge and costs associated with recovering Delta-8. So you would have to process approximately 55,000 kilos of hemp to produce 1 kilo of Delta-8 THC. So 55,000 kilos of hemp is quite a lot. Thinking of a kilo is 2.2 pounds. That's 100,000 pounds basically to get one 2.2 pound block of Delta-8 THC. Continuing to ignore the challenge with isolation and purification of the THC, which has to be removed. If you assume that a kilo of hemp is around $400, that's 2 pounds, 2.2 pounds, then the cost of just the biomass to yield a kilo of Delta-8 THC would be somewhere around $22 million. So I don't know how you can take a $22 million kilo. That's like way more expensive than anything that's been sold in kilos on the planet I've ever heard, at least that I know of. I don't know. I'm not familiar with every single element out there, but that seems like quite a lot for anything. I don't think there's nothing in our house that costs $22 million a kilo. So if you start to factor in the amount of work necessary and the cost associated with extraction and isolation of the Delta-8, we estimate that kilo of Delta-8 THC extracted and purified from naturally sourced hemp would be somewhere between 200 million and 500 million. Maybe with the economy of scale, you cut that down in half, maybe to $100 million. But again, possible, but not economically feasible. And producers are using things like acetic acid and bleach, and sometimes to convert things to convert this CBD isolate into Delta-8 THC. So we'll talk about another lab, and this is CEO of Infinite Labs, a very well-respected lab out in California. And what he calls it the dirty bathtub crank of hemp. And that is not meant to sway anybody. Just like a quote. And he's kind of going into, this is Josh Swider. He is the CEO of Infinite Cal. Okay. And they said less than 1% of 2,000 samples tested last year came back as pure Delta-8 THC. Most contained more Delta-9, the traditional THC, than reported. In fact, of 1,500 concentrate samples tested by Infinite Cal last year, a mere 6 samples tested compliant with the 2018 Farm Bill. He said some samples kind of look like a rainforest under the chromatographic spectrum. under the chromatography, it's all different kinds of things. It shows you like different points of what is not. And he said sometimes like, it could be even the products that were like 90% Delta-8. He said, what's the other 10%? We don't know. So we're talking about people whose business or in the business of testing and analyzing these things for our health and human safety. Well, a couple other things. DEA rules on hemp processing technically categorizes Delta-8 as an illegal substance. That is due to its THC levels. And all of this is really kind of one of the more important things to get a mixed message to law enforcement. I mean, this is already, this hemp THC confusion is already right enough to kind of keep them on their heels a little bit and say, well, what is this? Because these plants look alike. But this is adding a whole nother layer. Like I said, I have friends and colleagues who are in this Delta-8 business. I'm not here to talk bad about what you're doing or your products or destroy your business. I've actually tried Delta-8 products and they're pretty cool. But I guess what I'm saying is this kind of needs a little further discussion. Like this needs to be addressed because we are, we're embarking on some different challenges and stuff in our business, and we don't need any more, honestly. So, and if it is a perfectly good product and it's safe and it's a legal extract, then I think the DEA and all the other organizations, federal organizations, you kind of need to come in and kind of do something about this. They kind of say like, look, this is it, this is not. Let's do some real testing. It is real, or is it possible? So, but if we're looking at something that takes 100,000 pounds to make 2.2 pounds. How could there be this much on the market? Like, I mean, mathematically, I don't know. So I know we've gone way longer than we normally have. I mean, we're about 12 minutes, which is fine. It's not a long time, man. But, sometimes when people are on a rush, I understand that you want to listen to this crap for that very long. But we thought it was very important to be addressed. We want to put some information out there. We're not trying to steer anybody. We just want you to be as informed as possible. And that's really it for today. So, we want you to come back. If you have any questions, please, if you have any concerns, please put that in the comments. And we would really love to hear everyone's comments about what you're thinking, what you're seeing, maybe what you've experienced. I mean, things are changing out there. I mean, they're actually going after retailers right now, actively going after them for selling something that they think is perfectly legal. So this is like layered on a lot of levels. I mean, even people who think that they're selling a legal product or are making legal money are now facing charges. So I think it does need to be addressed. We do need to look at this issue. It's not a problem, but it could be. It's an issue. So, and just like anything else, as a young industry, we have had our fair share of challenges. This is just one of the many, and probably one of many more to come. But just if you guys have any problems, questions, issues, concerns about Delta-8, we're not Delta-8 experts anyway, but we can find out probably a little bit more than some others. But just give us a call. Give us a call. Send us a comment. You can send us an email, info@cherryblossommcbd.com, or hit us at any of our social media outlets. We'd be more than happy to take your questions. If you think that this video can be helpful to someone, or if you think this is good information that you want to share with somebody, we highly suggest you doing that. This is a very hot conversation right now, and we just kind of, we're just continuing the conversation. Next week, we'll come back with some more hemp news, and we'll see you with a very exciting interview also on Friday. We're Friday with Friends. So thank you for your patience today. Thank you for my long-windedness, or dealing with my long-windedness, and we will talk to you in a few days. All right, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So thank you.